Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Total War Warhammer 3 lore video, and today we are doing Long Drong and the Pirate Slayers. If you enjoyed this video, do consider joining or subscribing, or even just dropping a like. Any little bit helps the channel. Got some exclusive content for our members already in the member section, including our ongoing Malice Darkblade series, and we are revisiting the old retro game Shadow of the Horned Rat. But other than that, please sit back and enjoy. And today we're doing Long Drong and his Pirate Slayers. Long Drong, so called because of his great height amongst dwarves, was once a seafarer from Barak Var, who claimed a dubious line of descent from Drong the Hard, legendary dwarf ancestor known from many sagas. These two were obviously named in the more juvenile days of Games Workshop, but he began his career as a dwarf seafarer in Barak Var. He worked his way up from a cabin dwarf to the captain of the trading ship, the Barrel of Ale. He never sought an adventuring life, and serving as the captain of the Barrel of Ale, he transported the best brews to thirsty dwarves wherever he made port. Slow and steady was Drong's maxim, and he gained a reputation as a safe pair of hands. That was until a storm drove the barrel onto Sartosa's cliffs. Only by Long Drong's quick thinking did the crew escape. However, they were forced to leave their beloved ship impaled upon the rocks, its precious cargo bleeding into the waves. For Long Drong, this was a shame beyond bearing. He and his fellows took the Slayer's oath and set out to find what doom Sartosa held. Having thus sworn, Long Drong, now known as Long Drong Slayer, trekked inland to his destiny, which was to become the most notorious pirate ever to lurk on Sartosa. His first action was to storm the stronghold of the pirate lord Capitano Sisico. Hearing stories of the vicious tyrant, Drong thought here would be his chance to claim a worthy death. Unfortunately, it was not to be. What he did get was a fortress to call home. Sisico's parrot, which he named Bitsy, due to its habit of saying, "Bits of gold!" Sisico's ship, and enough plundered booty to turn it into something a dwarf could be proud to sail. For dwarves are not overly fond of water, and the dwarves of Barak Var are unusual in that many of them become sailors. Even so, they still do not relish setting foot on flimsy wooden ships used by men and elves. Instead, they put their faith in huge iron vessels, driven by paddles and powered by steam boilers, located deep within heavily armored hulls, the arcane secrets of which are kept by the Sea Engineers Guild. Long Drong hired dwarf craftsmen to rebuild the flimsy vessel, not sparing the iron, and he also hired dwarf smiths to forge cannons for the vessel, which Long Drong named the Fair Frigga, named after a famous dwarf maiden of Barak Var, rumored to be very beautiful. A figurehead representing her was carved by the crew. Unfortunately, neither Long Drong nor any of his crew had ever seen the real-life dwarf maiden, so they had to rely on their vivid imaginations and hearsay, the results of which were there were some protruding parts of the dwarf maiden's anatomy, which was shod in brass and made an awesome ram on the prow of the ship. The Fair Frigga is now a testament to dwarf engineering, instantly recognizable by its figurehead. When Drong took his fortress, he also freed the prisoners chained in Sisico's dungeons. In return, they told him all they knew about buried treasure and handed over the maps they had. Long John learned that the key to success was often the possession of a chest full of gold, the type of which was used to pay mercenary armies. Many such pay chests had been lost in battles, and there were mercenary generals willing to pay handsomely for their return, even up to double the value of anything in the chest, or a great fortune for an empty chest alone. This was because the recovery of such chests in this part of the world was a matter of pride amongst mercenary generals, who regard them in the same way other races do army battle standards. Learning to hunt for these pay chests, the Slayers soon earned a reputation as experts at capturing the pay chests of rival mercenary armies, breaking the line of elite soldiers guarding them with a frenzied barrage of pistol shots and insults. For this, they were well compensated, Long Drong having lost none of his business savvy. Soon enough, offers to hire his services came flowing in by swift messengers. In truth, though, their mercenary work is just to keep them in ale, rum, and black powder. Their true focus, the thing which will send the Fair Frigga charging off to all corners of the world, is fighting sea monsters. Long Drong has not yet met a monster he could not best. The fair Freegar's flanks bear scoring from battles with Leviathan, while scraps of scaled merwin hide fly beneath his signature flagon and crossed pistol banner. Such victories are hard won. Drong lost a hand to a lurkerfish, a leg to a sea drake, and an eye to a bet. His doom has eluded him, though he takes satisfaction knowing many of his crew have regained honor in his service, their places taken by others seeking death on the sea. The Slayer pirates have gained repute as skilled warriors, joining the ranks of mercenary companies all over the Warhammer world, seeking their doom or just booty to keep them going until the next great doom presents itself. They have even crossed paths with the infamous Gotrek and Felix, who spent a month aboard their ironclad warship. He and Gotrek got along like slayers. Slayers and pirates, both being notorious drinkers, their boat was well stocked. Slayer pirates are even known to brew their own drink. This dangerous stuff is a sort of rum mixed with gunpowder and iron filings, and each bottle has a skull and crossbones on it as a warning. The concoction wreaks havoc on their insides, and the resultant intestinal rumblings and gurglings leave an odious mist hanging around them. Though the pirates claim not to notice the smell, it is quite pungent to outsiders. Felix had experienced the worst seasickness of his life aboard the cramped and foul-smelling vessel, and things hadn't gotten any better when Drong and Gotrek had bullied him aboard Malachi McCason's experimental undersea exploration vessel, where the notorious Slayers tangled with a group of fishmen on the ocean floor. Long Drong Slayer, the leader of the Slayer pirates, is now one of Sartosa's most well-respected captains, though this may be akin to the respect one gives a barrel of gunpowder. No other sailor would willingly go where Long Drong ventures, chasing down the ocean's most terrifying monsters in his voyage to a worthy death. Those pirate captains of Sartosa who occasionally join Long Drong for drinks describe a darkness creeping over him. Drong still drinks and sings shanties, shouting out stories of his latest victories to roars of approval. But as the night wears on, a melancholy mood settles upon him. He sits at his table, rubbing the curve of his hook, staring out to the sea. Drong knows he cannot keep up this hunt forever. How much longer does he have before he is robbed of his great doom? And that is the tale of Long Drong and his Slayer pirates. Let's have a look at how they played on the tabletop. Now, the Slayer pirates on the tabletop were very similar to Slayers. They, of course, were immune to psychology. Like all Slayers, the dwarf pirates are immune to psychology and break tests, making them unbreakable, of course. They were festooned with pistols. All the pirates, including Long Drong, gained an additional attack because they were fighting with weapons in each hand. And since they were festooned with pistols, which they shot off in a hurricane of destruction, all of their attacks are considered to be strength 4 pistol hits. And the pirates carry so many pistols that they never need to reload. It was a concept that they're just absolutely tied down with dozens of pistols at a time. And, of course, they had their infamous dwarven rum. When unable to get ale, the dwarf pirates brew their own drink. What this meant, as I mentioned in the tale, was that they had this horrible odor about them, and that meant that enemies would suffer -1 to hit them in hand-to-hand combat. There were some exceptions to this, of course. The undead weren't affected, neither were demons or followers of Nurgle, who wouldn't notice the stench either. But this also meant that they could be at a disadvantage, as no other troops would want to stand near the pirates. As a result, the regiment could not be deployed closer than 3 inches to any other unit in the army at the start of a battle. That's how stinky the Slayer pirates could be. So, can't wait to see how they are implemented in Total War Warhammer, but it's great to have them included, coming up with the latest Thrones of Decay DLC. But that's about it for the tale of the Slayer pirates. And if you've liked the video, please do drop a like, subscribe, and maybe consider joining if you can. That would be great, and a huge support to the channel. Other than that, guys, as always, a huge thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you all in the next one. Alright, guys? Bye.